Greetings, my night ravens. I am Lady Lenore, your guide through the shadows. Tonight, I lead you down a forgotten path, a trail that wears its history in silence, a path once tread by those whose names are now lost to the wind. They call it Zombie Road. The signs may say it's just another hiking trail, but those who know better. This isn't a tale told from the safety of distance. No, tonight, the dare was accepted, the path was walked, and what lurks among the trees has already drawn its circle. You aren't listening to this story, Raven. You're part of it, and the shadows have already begun to move toward you. This is the story of Zombie Road. You almost don't recognize Stacy when she waves you over. The bonfire crackles behind her, painting everyone in flickering gold and amber light. Most of the people are strangers, her college friends, loud and relaxed in a way that makes even an observer like you feel right at home. Yes, it's a different crowd, but the vibe is undeniably laid back and effortlessly inviting. As you cross the yard, you notice one of the girls leaning against the drink table. She's wearing teal hokas, lightweight, bold, built for miles. You glance down at your own, cream-colored, worn in, familiar. She sees you looking and smiles. Twins, she says, lifting one foot like she's showing off. I hike in mine. You? You laugh, just a little. I just like how they look. Fair, she grins. I'm Jess. You smile back. You talk for a moment, long enough to feel any edge of awkwardness ease off. Near the fire, you see Stacy sitting with a guy who's a little too close, his shoulder brushing hers. He's handsome, in that understated way, casual, camera shy, the kind of guy who doesn't need to try too hard, but somehow catches attention anyway. You walk over to join Stacy, who looks up and smiles at you. Hey, this is Jake, she says. But there's something in her tone, like she's introducing him but not saying much more than that. Jake smiles back, his grip firm when he shakes your hand. As you clasp hands, you feel something faint beneath his skin. A jagged scar running across his wrist, still a little rough to the touch, as though it hasn't fully healed. You pull your hand back slightly, but Jake just gives you a small, polite smile, unaware of the odd feeling lingering in your fingertips. Stacy nudges him playfully. Don't worry, he's harmless. As the night stretches on, the energy softens. Someone throws another log on the fire, and the group settles into a more laid-back, hazy kind of quiet. That's when the stories begin. Someone brings up Zombie Road, local legend, vanishing people, strange sounds in the dark. A guy across the circle grins and says, My cousin swears he saw a ghost riding a razor scooter down that trail. Said it smelled like Axe body spray and regret. Everyone laughs. Someone dares another to shotgun a beer, and a failed cartwheel follows. The night starts to unravel in the way good parties do. Eventually, someone shouts, Truth or dare? And the circle reforms, more intoxicated now, knees bumping up against each other, bottles half empty. It's paired rounds, and when it lands on you and Stacy, the group leans in, expectant. You glance at Stacy. Some questions cut deeper than they sound. Not long ago, she'd shared something private with a boy she liked, something meant to stay between them. But he was part of that game some guys played, keeping score for what they could get from girls. He got points, and she got exposed. You don't want her cornered by a question meant as a joke, but landing like a blade. So, you choose dare for both of you. And immediately the challenge comes fast. Walk Zombie Road, 1 hour, just the two of you. Stacy nods without hesitation, and you say yes, though something in you wants to say no. The laughter fades behind you as you drive, but the silence between you and Stacy feels natural, like it's just part of the night. The road stretches ahead, empty, and the occasional hum of the tires is the only sound breaking the quiet. Stacy glances over at you, her smile light, but with an edge of disbelief. "Zombie road, huh? I can't believe we're actually doing this," she says, shaking her head in amused disbelief. You let out a small laugh, glancing at her. "Yeah, who thought a dare like this would be a good idea? We'll probably get halfway there and turn back." She chuckles. "Maybe, but it's a story, right? Something to tell, at least." The full moon hangs above, casting its light across the dark road, turning the shadows into long stretches. The night feels alive under the moon's watchful eye, its light sharp and clear, casting everything in a silver hue. You pull the car into the lot at Ridge Meadows Elementary, the headlights briefly illuminating the dark, quiet building behind you. No one else is around. The sounds of bugs and distant rustling fill the air as you both step out of the car. The grass beneath your feet crunches lightly, and you hear the familiar hoot from an owl makes the summer air feel just a little cooler. The occasional chirp of insects and the whisper of wind through the trees. Your flashlights cut through the dark as you walk toward the trailhead. The road behind you disappears, and the trees seem to close in. You and Stacy walk side by side, talking just enough to make it feel like a stroll through the neighborhood, not a dare in the woods. "So," you say, nudging her gently, "is that guy at the fire your boyfriend?" She laughs under her breath. "Kind of. It's new. He's quiet. Not really my usual type." "Maybe that's why it's working," you say. She grins. "Yeah, maybe." The two of you laugh, soft, quick, and the sound is swallowed by the trees. In the distance, you hear footsteps behind you. You stop, and so does she. They're faint, slow, and not far, but not close enough to see. You think, maybe someone pulled up, late, a ranger or the cops. Without a word, you both move faster, not running, just enough to put space between you and whatever might be behind. The sound fades, and only your own breathing is loud in your ears. You pause for a moment, listening for footsteps, but all you hear is the trail around you. Stacy exhales, and you both keep walking. You keep glancing back. The footsteps are gone, but the feeling isn't. The trees seem closer now, and your shoulders stay tense, waiting for something to move. Sweeping the light across the trail, nothing shifts. No sounds, but your pulse is quick and high, and every crunch beneath your feet makes you flinch. Stacy stops and scans the woods, and you follow suit, pretending not to panic. Then something shifts, subtle, a sound, neither near nor distant but unmistakable, almost like breathing, or maybe it's the wind. You clear your throat, trying to smooth the edge off your voice. "What classes did you sign up for this semester?" Stacy doesn't look away from the trees. "Chem and art history," she says after a moment. "Weird combo, I know." You smile, but it's tight. One blows things up, the other explains why. She laughs, but the sound is thin, like it doesn't want to stay in the air. A faint pattern rises, soft and steady, too regular for wind. Not loud enough for footsteps. Not wild enough for an animal. It moves through the trees like it's circling. You glance over at Stacy, but she's already staring into the darkness. She jerks slightly, her breath hitching. "Did you see that?" she whispers, her eyes wide. You turn, straining to see through the shadows. At the edge of the woods, something shifts. Just a flicker, too quick to place. Something darker, moving where nothing should be. You barely register the sound, just a rustle in the air. A sharp laugh rips through the trees, dry, cracked, and unsettling, like something out of place, a sound that doesn't belong. It cuts through the night once, sharp and brittle, before being swallowed by the woods. Your heart races as the laughter fades, until something else barrels through the underbrush. The sound is fast, too fast, charging toward you with a speed that doesn't fit the weight of footsteps. It doesn't stop, doesn't pause, just crashes through the dark, and that's enough. You don't wait, you bolt. You and Stacy run, feet pounding against the uneven trail, branches slapping your arms. Your flashlight wobbles, bouncing wildly between trees, the ground, the sky, and then it locks on something ahead. Just off the trail, something leans at an angle you don't like. At first, it's only a shadow among shadows. Then the light settles on it. A shack, its sagging wood leaning against the darkness. A single window faces the trail, lit faintly by the full moon overhead. The glass is dark, but just enough light catches to show that it's watching. The door is slightly ajar, like it tried to close but couldn't. It's not welcoming, but it's the only place with walls. And right now, walls are all you can think of. You don't speak. You don't hesitate. You just follow Stacy toward it, lungs burning, thoughts unraveling. The shack door groans as you pull it closed. It doesn't quite latch. The wood is swollen, the lock rusted useless, but you attempt to press it shut anyway. Behind you, Stacy hisses, "Kill the light!" You do. The beam vanishes, and darkness swallows everything. For a few seconds, neither of you move. Then your eyes begin to adjust. Moonlight spills in through the window, thin and cold, but enough to see by. The room takes shape in grays and shadows. The air smells like mold and extinguished fire, old, bitter, stale. To your right, a sagging bed sinks into the wall, one of its posts blackened and cracked as if burned. On the left, a chair sits just slightly turned, not toward the window, not toward the door, but toward the center of the floor. That's where you see it. A circle burned into the wood, faint but deliberate, a symbol carved into its center, lines retraced with something darker. Soot dust clings to the edges, and a few sharp splinters still jut up where the knife or nail bit too deep. You avoid stepping on it. You move around it, careful, like your body already knows what your mind hasn't caught up to. Footsteps, more than one, fast, too solid, like they're dragging weight behind them, running just outside the shack. They don't pass, they don't fade, they circle, once, then again. Whatever's out there already knows you're inside, and it's deciding what to do next. You and Stacy freeze, barely breathing. She crouches near the door, hand braced against it like she's holding the dark back. The boards beneath you creak as you shift, staying low. You slide down beside the bed, your back against the frame, trying to steady your nerves. The mattress dips slightly from the movement, then something tumbles down beside you. A dull clink. Stacy jerks her head toward you, wide-eyed. "Are you trying to be heard?" she hisses, barely a breath. You mouth sorry and glance down. It's a small metal box, rusted at the hinges, no larger than your palm, its lid now flung open. The contents are scattered across the floor. You begin to gather them quickly, hands moving without thought, but the unease grows with every piece. A single strand of hair, tied neatly with red thread. A folded piece of paper, sealed in wax so dark it looks wet. And a fine layer of gray powder, clinging to everything like soot. You touch it without thinking. It coats your fingertips, soft, cold, with a faint slickness you don't expect. Not just dust, something blended. Ash, maybe, and wax. Your stomach turns as your hand recoils. Whatever this was, it wasn't meant to come apart. And now it has. You stay pressed against the bed, wiping your fingers against your jeans, but the residue clings. Your gaze drifts, searching for somewhere else to rest, but it always returns to the floor, to the same spot in the center of the shack. The air around it feels slower, like the room itself has grown denser, as though every corner is watching. The longer you look, the more the marks seem to shift, the edges sharper in the dim light. There's a strange sensation now, as if the wood is somehow waiting, unfinished, as though it has yet to be fully formed. A faint tap breaks the silence. It doesn't come from a corner or the door. The sound threads through the slats and spaces in the walls, soft and slow, like the shack is breathing around you. You don't move closer to the carving on the floor. You don't need to. The longer you look at it, the worse the feeling gets. Low and rising, like your body knows what your mind hasn't caught up to. Whatever this place is, it's been used recently. A knock. Soft, measured, and strangely polite. It taps against the door like someone waiting at a friend's house. Gentle, practiced, and completely out of place. You and Stacy freeze. Neither of you breathe. Another knock. Same rhythm. Calm. Certain. No voices call out. No footsteps retreat. You strain to hear even a whisper, but the woods have gone still. Too still. Not quiet like sleep. Quiet like watching. And the shack feels like it's holding its breath with you, afraid to make a sound. You crawl slightly forward, but the window gives you nothing. Just moonlight smeared across warped glass and shadows shifting just beyond it. Something gathers just beyond the glass. Shadows outside. Tall, unmoving, cloaked figures. Silent and watching. The door drifts inward, the latch scraping loosely against the wood, still attached, but long past useful. Warm night air spills in at first, but what follows is colder, unnatural, brushing your skin like breath from something that shouldn't be breathing. One of them steps through the doorway, cloak trailing across the floor. 3 more follow, silent, deliberate, 4 in total. They glide into the shack with a slow, practiced grace, each one taking a place along the room's edge. They fill the space without a word. As one turns to face the door, the hem of her cloak lifts just slightly, enough for the moonlight to catch on something beneath. Teal, not just any pair. The same shade, the same tread. Recognition creeps in, sharp and cold. Jess? You don't move. You can't. The floor presses up against you, hard and uneven, splinters biting through your jeans. Every muscle locks tight. You want to scream, to say something, but the words are strangled in your throat. The figures line the room now, 4 of them, each cloaked, each silent, positioned just beyond the reach of moonlight. They don't cross into the circle. From the shadows near the door, Stacy rises. She doesn't speak. She picks up the tin, fingers curling around it like it belongs to her. Her grip, strong, too strong, like something pulling her hand to it. She carries it like something sacred. Stacy rises slowly, her movements controlled, almost mechanical. She doesn't look at you. She doesn't need to. Her steps are quiet, deliberate, almost too precise, like every movement has already been practiced. She crosses the floor without hesitation, kneeling within the circle as though it was always meant for her. Behind her, the door begins to close, not pushed, not pulled, not by wind or weight. It moves as if something unseen has made a choice. It doesn't creak. It doesn't slam, it seals. The moment folds in on itself, tight, quiet, final. And so, the dare was taken, but the price was never spoken aloud. The road still winds behind Ridge Meadows, deeper than its trail maps and older than its name. They call it Zombie Road, and if you walk it after dark, listen closely. If you hear a knock, soft and slight. If laughter echoes, though none are in sight. If your name is called, but it whispers instead, and it feels like your voice, but it's not from your head. Remember, the circle was never closed. Sleep well, my children of the dark, and if you wish to return to the shadows again, strike the like button, subscribe, and let the bell guide your way back.